Good morning and welcome to our morning session here with Azizi James from UCSD. We see that some more people are joining us, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Let's please welcome Azizi. She's going to share some updates on UC San Diego. So Azizi, I'm going to let you take it away.
Thanks so much, Tanya. Good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. I can see folks are still trickling in. As Tanya mentioned, my name is Azizi James, and I am the Associate Director for Recruitment for UC San Diego's Office of Admissions. And so today I'm going to share with you slides that were presented at the UC Counselor Conference by our Interim Director, Debbie Kammerer. So if you were not able to attend that event, this will give you some insights as to what was shared during the director session. And then I will share with Tanya a link to our YouTube channel that has our general presentation on it, so that you can get more general insight into UC San Diego, but hopefully this will give you some insight into the updates that we shared this year. All right, so looking at first year by our numbers, we had over 131,000 applications that we received for the fall 2022 class. We admitted over 31,000 of those students with about almost a 24% admit rate. About 48% of those students were first generation. 52% were low income, which we're really grateful to be able to provide access to students who are those communities. You will note that those percentages and numbers are just for our California residents, really focusing on that here today. So the one thing that I think scares a lot of students when they see our GPA, of course, but the middle 50% of our students who were admitted had between a 4.2 and a 4.30. So we always like to make sure that students understand that we do have a holistic review as a part of our process. So it is not only the academic we're looking at when it comes to admitting a we really encourage them to ensure that they are sharing as much information as they can on their application, including all of their extracurricular, volunteer, and work experience, making sure they tell us their leadership experience that they have either on or off campus, as well as any honors and distinctions that they may have received. So again, important for students to really share as much as possible, and then also using those personal insight questions as a way for students to make sure that they are telling us about any exceptional experiences or achievements that they may have, as well as any roadblocks or challenges that may have impacted their experience in high school. So helping your students to make sure they're using the full application to tell us as much information as possible is only going to help students. So of those 31,000, we expected to enroll about 6,700. Our fall quarter started on September 22nd. And we're just about, I think we just hit third week census. And so those numbers will be shared. Our enrolled numbers will be shared across the entire system in about December. So you'll have more insight on the number of students who enrolled out of the 31,000 that we admitted. We did use our wait list this year. So we had about 36,000, over 36,000 students opt into our wait list. And we admitted just over 2,400 of them to the institution. So approximately 8% of our first year admits were from the wait list. I'll note that our wait list can change from year to year. There's no guarantee that we will admit students to a wait list or offer the opportunity to opt in to a wait list. Instead, we have to look at our applicant pool and determine if we're going to utilize our wait list or not. So it's something that we encourage students that if they do get the opportunity to opt into a wait list for a campus that they're really interested in attending, they should always opt in because we're only going to pull from the students who have opted into the wait list. But they also need to make sure that they accept an offer at an institution that has admitted them. Likely, we will not go to our wait list or pull any students from our wait list. If we use it, we won't do that until after May 1st. So it's important for students to make sure that they have options and not holding out to see if we will admit them from the wait list. As you can see, the numbers are relatively small. The number we pulled from the wait list. So even though we had 36,000 on the wait list that opted in, we only pulled in about 20. So important for you to share with your students and also know that it's a way for us to manage that enrollment. So there are times where we need to know first if the students who we've offered admission to, if they are going to accept. And if they are not going to accept, that's when we may consider going to that wait list. So it's a way for us to manage our enrollment. And I know it can be nerve-wracking for students and families, but we encourage them to just see the process through and also keep many other options in mind in case they are on our wait list. So at UC San Diego, we have about 140 plus majors across 8 different academic schools. We have some of the majors are listed here on the screen. There are also a number of hundreds of minors actually that students can take a part of. We have students who are studying some of our studies like engineering, biological sciences, physical sciences. We have our wonderful arts and humanities programs. We also have public health. We have some combination of majors and minors with the Rady School of Business. But I will share, because I know a lot of people don't think this, but a majority of the students at UC San Diego are studying in the social sciences. So that's your cognitive science, your psychology, your political science, your ethnic studies, a variety of different areas. So some students might rule us out if they think that we're only a STEM school, but we absolutely are not. We really encourage students to look at all of our different majors because they all are great programs and provide wonderful opportunities for students to do research, to study abroad, to get internships, really just a wide breadth of opportunities at UC San Diego. So listed here on the screen are some of our minors that I mentioned that we offer. There is a link there at the bottom where you can have your students check out our minors and also our most selective majors. And these are also what we call capped majors. So when students are applying to UC San Diego and they have an interest in one of these selective majors, it's important that they put that as their first choice major on the application. For UC San Diego, we do not admit students based on the major that they have chosen. So we first will evaluate their application, and then once we've determined that we want to admit them to the institution, we then look at their major that they have selected, and that's when we determine if they are able to get into that major or not. If they're not able to get into their primary or alternate major, we will admit them undeclared. So you won't have a situation where a student has applied for engineering and because they didn't get into engineering, we are going to deny them admission. Our admission at UC San Diego does not work in that way. If we want to admit a student, we will, regardless of whichever major they put. That being said, it's really important that students put engineering first if they are interested in that, like I mentioned earlier. This is one of the programs, the likelihood of getting into the major as a continuing student is very, very slim. I won't say impossible because there's always some possibility, right? But it's very, very slim. So we encourage students to put their engineering major or any of these majors really as their first choice so that they can get into that major when they're admitted into the institution. For all of them except for engineering, if you're not admitted, if your student is not admitted into the major at time of admission, they will have the opportunity to go to the department and declare that major as a continuing student. Some of them may need to take certain courses and have a certain GPA. It might take you until your sophomore or your junior year to declare it. Really depends on the department, and they will walk you through what those steps are to declare that major at a later time if they're not admitted directly into that major. One area I would, especially for students who are interested in biological sciences, that I would strongly encourage students to consider as an alternate major, if not their primary, would be any of our majors down in the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Those majors are highly heavy on the biological sciences side of things. And so students who are interested in biological sciences but haven't been admitted into that major tend to find a great opportunity to be able to study in one of those majors. They offer marine biology, oceanic and atmospheric studies, as well as environmental sciences. Many of their programs are catered or focused around climate change. And so that is something that we have found that some students who are interested in biological sciences are interested in. The other thing that I'll share is that we're hearing more and more from medical schools and law schools that students don't need to major in those traditional majors in order to get into those programs as graduate students. So for med school, students think that they need to be a bio or a chemistry major. And actually medical schools are asking for students to have something different than those traditional majors. And so they encourage students to major in anything that they are interested in. And all they would need to do is take the prerequisites in order to get into medical school. And none of those prerequisites are limited to students in biology or chemistry. Same for law school, pre-law. Students are able to major in anything that they want. We do have political science, we do have history, philosophy, English. Those are very traditional majors for students who want to be lawyers. But again, same goes for the pre-med track, same for the pre-law track. They can major in anything that they need to do and then just prepare themselves to apply to law school. So really help your students think about multiple pathways to careers. I think that is one of the things that many students struggle with, is thinking that they have to be, for instance, a computer science major to end up being a computer scientist. But I encourage students to think outside the box. We have a number of different majors that will get students to that same path. And they may even take a look at different people who are in those careers and ask them what their path was, because I would imagine they would find that not every single person who is in a career had the exact same path to that job. So really just encouraging students to think outside the box and think of other ways instead of limiting themselves to only one particular major. All right. So next, I want to talk about our newest college, 8th College. The theme is engagement and community. And our students are able to rank this college on their application this year. This college will be on our southwest side of campus, right next to the La Jolla Playhouse. And their home will be the Theater District Living Learning Community. So that community and college is being built up right now as we speak, and will open for fall 2023 for first year students. So they do need to rank this their application to make sure that they have that opportunity if they are interested in 8th College. There is a lot of different information coming out about 8th College as they build their curriculum for their general education. And so you can always have your students go to that website, and you yourself can go to the website that's here on the screen to learn more about 8th College. It's again, just a wonderful opportunity for us to be able to create these smaller communities at the larger institution and giving the opportunity to really have their home base and have faculty, staff, and student engagement at the college level. So outside of 8th College, we do have 7 other colleges. So in total, there are 8 colleges. And I know that it's usually a confusing point for students when they're looking at UC San Diego. But really, we try to help them to understand that one, the colleges is, like I mentioned, that community, a small neighborhood, kind of giving your students a liberal arts kind of experience at a large top tier research institution. They will likely live in their college their first year. They will have access to student support services, academic advising, as well as different clubs and organizations. And the colleges are located all throughout the campus and really provide a unique opportunity that is based on the theme of their college, is the general education pattern that they will follow. And then that students really have that opportunity to find which colleges are going to fit best with the things that they want to learn about and the things that they're interested in. And that's how they would go about ranking them on the application. The second thing I think is really important for students and everyone to understand is that their college is not connected to their major or their minor. So there are students from every single major across all of the different colleges. One of the first questions that I get after talking about the colleges is, okay, well, if my student wants to be an engineering major, which is the best college that they should choose? And the answer to that is any of them. Because again, it is not about the major that they're choosing or the minor that they may add on once they're at our campus. They are not connected to the colleges. The general education pattern is, but not the major. So students really should do their research so that when they rank it on the application, it's in the order of their interest. And we do try to put students in one of their top choices when we are placing them into their college. I'll also note that their college selection does not have any weight on them being admitted. So they could rank it however they want. It has no bearing on how we admit our students. So hopefully that gives some clarity to that. And again, feel free to share that with your students to help them what it is that our college system brings to our experience, as well as there are videos on our YouTube channel that the students and yourself can watch if you want more information. All right, so a couple of different highlights that I want to point out that are upcoming and have recently opened. So we have, as I mentioned, that theater district living learning community, which will be the home of 8th College, that will open in fall 2023. Transfer students, just so you have this information, but transfer students will be allowed into 8th College by 2025. But the first 2 years will build the lower division student population of that college, and then we'll grow to transfer and upper division students. We also have the Pepper Canyon West Living Learning Neighborhood scheduled to open fall 2024. If you've ever been on our campus, this is located where the old 6th College used to be. There are some people that will refer to it as Camp Snoopy. So that is where that has been demolished, and they are building high-rise towers. And this will primarily be apartment-style living for transfer students and upper division students. So these two housing initiatives add to obviously our number of beds on our campus, and gets us back to our 2-year housing guarantee for both first year and transfer students. So if students are able to submit their application by the contract deadline, they will have guaranteed housing for 2 years on our campus when coming to UC San Diego. The other new thing that's happening, actually, in just a couple of weeks, we will have the grand opening of the Epstein Family Amphitheater. This is actually right next to where the Pepper Canyon West Living Learning Community is going to be. So it is right next to our trolley station, which I'll talk about in just a second. But the Epstein Family Theater is an open air, multifunctional venue that holds over 2,800 people. We will use it for concerts, for different productions. I know that there are already some performances scheduled, including, I believe, a symphony or orchestra performance, as well as a variety of other experience. One of our faculty in music, King Britt, is a professor that teaches Blacktronica, which is the study of Black music in the electronic genre. And he was going to be hosting a concert at the Amphitheater later this month. So really great opportunity for not only UC San Diego students to engage and enjoy, but we do hope that the greater San Diego community does come to UC San Diego to experience that amphitheater. And then, as I mentioned, the trolley. So we do have the Blue Line trolley at UC San Diego. Now we have 2 stops on our campus. All of our students get a trolley or a Triton U-Pass, which is included in their fees that they pay, so they don't pay anything additional to get that U-Pass. And they can use that for the trolley as well as for the other MTS buses throughout the city of San Diego. So a really great opportunity for students to come to campus if they are going to be commuting at any point in their academic career with us, but also just a really great opportunity to get around town and to experience all that San Diego has to offer. So we do hope that students do take advantage of that. And then I know we still have this advertisement here. We had our fall showcase that happened earlier this month. Hopefully some of your students were able to join us for that. It was a great day on campus. We will have some additional events that will be coming up that students can take advantage of both virtually and in person. Okay, so these are all of our highlights, dates from this past year. I know I've left a lot of time and I'm not sure if you're able to use this Q&A feature, but I have left a good amount of time to be able to answer questions that you may have. I'm going to go ahead and open up the chat feature and if there are any questions that want to come through the Q&A. But I wanted to give you a snippet of those updates and then see if there are any questions that you may have.
I'm not seeing any questions in the Q&A or in the chat.
Oh, there's one.
Oh, we just had one pop up.
Okay, so are there important updates to the UC application this year that we should be aware of? There weren't really any changes to the application this really for us, it was just adding 8th college, so that's on there. But it still should be pretty much the same as previous years. There weren't any major updates, so probably some minor tweaks just for improvements, but no major updates.
Okay. Not seeing anything else. I had a quick question. I see that the fall showcase was on October 1st. Will there be another opportunity for students to attend the campus?
Yeah, so students and families can come to camp. We are offering tours again for our campus. So tours are Monday through Friday currently. We're working to get our Saturday tours back up and running by hopefully the winter or the spring. I don't know if many people know, but during the pandemic, students, there weren't any tours being offered. So a lot of the campuses were really ramping back up our student employment and trying to get more tour guides. So we are hiring more students currently and we'll be training them. And as we bring more on board, we'll be able to go back to offering our Saturday tour. So definitely students and families can come to campus. I will actually stop sharing screen and just pull up another PowerPoint really quick that can showcase different event pages that we have. So there's definitely opportunity for students to take advantage of being on campus and seeing everything that they need to see. And we do have two options. We have self-guided tours as well as guided tours. So students can come to campus and have that opportunity to walk around on their own with our map, which is very useful and easy to follow. Or they can sign up for a guided tour where they will have a tour guide that will walk them through all of that information. So we have a number of ways for students to connect with us. So we have our social media, which I'll share in just a second, but our events page is listed here. So we have, as I mentioned, a couple of different events coming up, both virtually and in person. Nothing as big as the fall showcase, of course, but we definitely have some other opportunities for students to come and experience UC San Diego. And then you can see there the website for our tours. So that's an opportunity for folks to be able to come and walk around campus. And then this is the way for students to subscribe to our email updates. So they can, if you want to take that down, this is an opportunity for students to be able to sign up with us to get all those reminders and let them know about our upcoming events so that they don't miss anything. And then there's also, hopefully you all are signed up for our counselor updates, and we send out those periodically as well. And those are usually similar to what we send to the students, but helpful tips that you can utilize to help remind your students and guide your students along in this process. We also have a virtual tour. Hopefully students are using that as needed, but hopefully with access to our campus via the trolley and other transportation, that students are able to come to campus and take advantage of it in person. But if they want to explore our virtual tour, they do have that option through our website. And then this is our social media. So our social media handles, as well as a hashtag Future Triton, where students can follow us on the 3 platforms. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there are full-length presentations that go through every nook and cranny of UC San Diego, as well as the UC system here on our YouTube channel. So students should explore those options as well to get more insight of what it's like to be at UC San Diego. We do have student stories that we will highlight. In the spring, we usually have student takeovers where they will kind of walk around with you, and it's kind of like seeing them in a day in a life in being at UC San Diego. So a great opportunity for students to kind of hear from their peers about what their experience is like, as well as getting the information from our admissions office. And then this is our contact information. So if you ever have questions, you or your students can always email us or give us a call. And that is, you're able to get in touch with us if you think of any other questions. But I know I still have time. I imagine that I get through that quickly, but I am happy to answer any questions, any additional questions that anyone has, or give you time back. It's up to you.
Yeah, I think we're okay. And I know that this recording will be posted on our school counseling webpage, as well as a link to, as Azizi said at the beginning, to some of the resources that she has for this presentation. So without much ado, I think since we don't, I saw a question just pop up. Is
there housing now for all students? So yes, so again, with the additional developments in our housing, as well as with the lifting of COVID protocols, that had a significant impact across the nation and with housing. So where we had more students in our suites and in each room prior to COVID, we were not able to do that during COVID. And so that is where the access to housing shrunk. And so we have now come out of that. I mean, COVID is still here, of course, but we have come out of having restrictions. And so we're able to now offer more housing for any student who submits their application by the contract deadline. That's also a key thing that was being missed sometimes as well, is that there were students who were not applying by the deadline and they weren't able to accommodate as well. Whereas in past, they may have had more flexibility to be able to accommodate students when it was tight with the number of that we were able to offer. It was challenging to be able to honor any applications beyond the deadline. So that was definitely one thing, but we now have a 2-year housing guarantee that I mentioned earlier. So again, if a student applies by the contract deadline, then they will be guaranteed housing on campus for at least 2 years. And that's no matter if they're a first year or a transfer student.
Okay. All right. So thank you, Azizi. It's always a great pleasure to have you join us and share all of the updates. And if you have any others, as she said, her contact information is right there on the screen. And look for those updates this week, by the end of the week, on the SCCOE School Counseling webpage with the recording of this slide deck, as well as any that Azizi is going to pass on to me to post. So thank you. I
Thank
hope
you.
you all have a wonderful day.
Thanks, everyone.